Yeah, it's better. Can you see me in darkness? Okay. As long as you can see me, I kind of. That's my teeth, I think. Hare Krishna. No, Krishna is not black. Krishna is Shama Sundara. Hare Krishna. So, Chatushloka is always spoken in a very context. You should understand the context in which it is spoken, right? So, there is a Chatushloka even in Bhagavad Gita. Because Vedas are so much, there are so many Vedas, so many Puranas. Acharyas have always tried to find means and ways, for few people staying in Gachibowli and Telapur. Because we don't have time for reading entire Bhagavatam. So they specifically know this need is going to come in high-tech city. So they have found out verses in Bhagavad Gita, and there is a context when that comes also. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna is going to just surrender, saying that I am done, I know that you are Param Dhama, Param, what is that shloka, Prabhuji? Param Brahma, Param Dhama, right? That shloka, when he speaks in 10th chapter, just before that, Krishna finishes the Chatur shloka, 10.8 to 10.12, and then immediately Arjuna surrenders. In the same way, even in Bhagavatam, there is a place where Lord Brahma has just appeared. He has just appeared, right? And all he can see is darkness. He doesn't know who is the reason of his creation, and he doesn't know where, where is he, what is going on, where did I come, right? In that situation, what Krishna does is he mercifully comes in a form of sound and he says Tapa, and then he meditates on the name of Lord, and he tries to get that self-realization, right? This is a whole big sequence of chapters. I'm not going to get into the detail. After all that, when he opens his eyes, he is completely satisfied, because all the knowledge Krishna has given to him from within. Now Brahma is very satisfied, and then Krishna, to make him more happy, his devotee more happy, Krishna appears in his form in front of him. As soon as Krishna appears, just imagine Brahma, who has done this tapasya for millions of years, maybe zillions of years, it's not one day of Brahma, or it's much longer than that, and he has seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face in front of him. And Krishna likes to add more and more ecstasy. He comes and shakes hands with Brahma. That's the first shake hand of the universe. And it is told that's in Sakya Bhav, where even though Lord Brahma is in Dasya Bhav, but Lord Krishna comes in Sakya Bhav, and he even more, gives him so much bliss and happiness for his existence. Literally shakes hands. It's written, yes, in Bhagavad. Krishna. Yeah, but he sees the source of all Narayans. He mentions that in this chapter. He actually says those words. So he sees this transcendental form of Krishna and is completely in ecstasy, and then he asks some questions. I'm talking about the 9th chapter, and he asks some questions, that even though my eyes are material, Krishna, how am I able to see you who is completely spiritual? And now that you have given me this existence, give me a reason to exist. How can I use this body in your service, right? And some more questions he asks. And then out of that happiness that his son, that we are all children of Krishna, we are asking the same question to Krishna. Krishna becomes very happy and tells these 4 shlokas, which is called Chatushloki. And these 4 shlokas, after Brahma hears, he understands the essence of everything. And these 4 shlokas, Brahma goes and tells to Narad, saying that, Narad, these are the 4 shlokas everybody is supposed to know. And Narad Muni, out of ecstasy, he takes these shlokas to Vyasa. And Vyasa becomes even so ecstatic, he converts these 4 shlokas into 18,000 shlokas, into Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken by Vyasdev to his wife. That was 1-to-1. And then Sukadeva Goswami in the womb of his mother becomes so ecstatic that he converts that 1-to-1 to 1-to-many. right, in the forest of Naimisharanya. In Naimisharanya, that was Sutta Goswami again repeating it. Exactly. When Sukadeva Goswami was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, right? And then Sutta Goswami was sitting in that assembly, and that he repeats that once again in beginning of Kali Yuga to everybody, in the forest of Naimisharanya. So this is the Chatushloka, and if we try to understand this Chatushloka with even 0.01% of faith, we all will come back to Godhead. Right? So that is the power of the Chatushloka. But we should have at least that 0.01 faith. You think that is small number, but that is not small. Right? So these are the two shlokas before the Chatushloka which Lord Krishna speaks. You can repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Jnanam Parama Guhyam Me. Yad Vijnana Samanvitam. Sarahasyam Tad Angam Cha. Grihana Gaditam Maya. Translation, I'll just read it. The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it is to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. So in the beginning itself he is saying, what is he going to give? He is going to give a knowledge, and that is there in the scriptures, but it is so confidential, but he is going to reveal it, he is going to decode it, and he is going to give it to Brahma so that he can achieve the perfection of life. And he is also telling what are necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. So it is explained, Chatushloka always explains three things: Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya Gyan, and Prayojana Gyan. Sambandha Gyan is relationship, knowledge of relationships. Abhideya Gyan is the knowledge of process, and Prayojana Gyan is the knowledge of goal. Right? So these three things Lord Krishna is going to speak in these 4 shlokas. Same thing even happens in Bhagavad Gita. Yavan aham yatha bhavo yadrupa guna karmaka tathaiva tattva vijnanam astu te mad anugrahat. All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Right? Lord Krishna is himself saying that without my causeless mercy, nobody can understand anything, including Lord Brahma. But he is saying that now I am going to reveal that to you. So you will understand everything about me, my form, my qualities, my activities, everything you are going to understand. Right? So here starts the Chatushloka, which is from 2.9.33 to 2.36. This is the essence of entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Chatushloka number 1, 2.9.33. Aham evasham evagre nanyad yat sad asat param paschad aham yad etaccha yo avashishyata so asmi aham. You can repeat this after me. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Right? Now here, lot of Mayavadis, they try to misinterpret this shloka. So Prabhupada became so ecstatic that the next 4 shlokas he has written almost a small book for those 4 shlokas. like 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6 pages of purport. Can you imagine Prabhupada when he knows that people are going to misinterpret it? So Brahma is I, Krishna is I, but two eyes are two different eyes. Prabhupada makes it very clear, right? So Mayavadis say, see, I, the personality of Godhead, and I is also Brahma, so I plus I is equal to I. Prabhupada says no, no way. Very clearly, I here is only about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and even though we are I, but we are part of that I, and that I still remains I. So you can't mix up both of these things, right? So there is a whole ecstatic purport, but we'll not read the whole purport, it will take a lot of time. But I've just chosen some parts of the purport that we can remember. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So please, I'll read it, please hear with attention. We should note very carefully that the personality of Godhead is addressing Lord Brahma and specifying with great emphasis himself, pointing out that it is he, the personality of Godhead, who existed before the creation. It is he only who maintains the creation, and it is he only who remains after the annihilation of the creation. Brahma is also a creation of the Supreme Lord. The impersonalists put forth the theory of oneness in the sense that Brahma, also being the same principle of I, because he is an emanation from the I, the absolute truth, is identical with the Lord, the principle of I, and that there is thus nothing more than the principle of I, as explained in this verse. Accepting the argument of the impersonalists, it is to be admitted that the Lord is the creator I and the Brahma is the created I. Therefore, there is a difference between the two I's, namely the predominator I and the predominated I. Therefore, there are still two I's, even accepting the argument of the impersonalist. But we must note carefully that these two I's are accepted in the Vedic literature Katha Upanishad in the sense of quality. The Katha Upanishad says, please repeat after me, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam Yo, Vidadati Kaman. The creator I and the created I are both accepted in the Vedas as qualitatively one, because both of them are Nityas and Chetanas. But the singular I is the creator I, and the created I's are of plural number because there are many I's like Brahma and those generated by Brahma. It is a simple truth, right? So Lord Krishna himself is saying in the beginning of Chatushloka itself that he should not be mistaken as any other person in this universe. Any other person, not Lord Shiva, not Lord anybody. You cannot make the mistake of saying he might be the creator or he might be the maintainer. The only one who remains before and after the creation is Lord Krishna only. That of this there should be no doubt, right? So let's go further. Just some parts of the purport as I said. In another feature of this verse, no one can deny the personalities of both Lord and Brahma. Therefore, in the ultimate issue, both the predominator and predominated are persons. Another thing is, they are persons. This conclusion refutes the conclusion of the impersonalist that in the ultimate issue everything is impersonal. They are persons. Prabhupada is making, you can see the mercy of our father, of our grandfather, Prabhupada. He is smashing even the possibility of thought process. Like no question of thinking. You and God are two different. Dvaita, like Madhvacharya says, two different. Therefore, the form of the Lord exists in all circumstances of creation, maintenance and annihilation. Now this is amazing. Please hear this. The Vedic hymns confirmed this fact in the statement. Sorry about this. Therefore, the form of the Lord exists in all circumstances of creation, maintenance and annihilation. The Vedic hymns confirm this fact in the statement Vasudevo va idam agra asin na brahma na cha shankara eko narayana asin na brahma neshana, etc. Before the creation, there was none except Vasudeva. There was neither Brahma nor Shankara. Very, very clear. Only Narayana was there and no one else. Neither Brahma nor Ishana. Shripad Shankaracharya also confirms in his comments on the Bhagavad Gita that Narayana, or the personality of Godhead, is transcendental to all creation, but the whole creation is a product of Avyakta. Therefore, the difference between the created and the creator is always there, although both are creator and created are of the same quality. Right? So this is very, very important introduction. Krishna is introducing himself to Brahma. Just imagine, Brahma has just opened his eyes and he is seeing Krishna, and Krishna is introducing himself with full authority, saying, I am that Supreme Person who was, who is, and who will always be there. One other feature of the statement is that the supreme truth is Bhagavan, not Brahman. Bhagavan, or the personality of Godhead. Now here in the highlighted portion below, Prabhupada says, the Vaikuntha Lokas are accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm so sorry. The Vaikuntha Lokas are also accepted in the Bhagavad Gita as being of Sanatana nature, are not annihilated even after the annihilation of the manifested cosmos. Krishna says this, there is a abode of mine where you don't need a sun, you don't need a moon, it's filled with light. He says that in Bhagavad Gita, and there he is giving a proof of Vaikuntha Lokas. Now, the Vaikuntha Lokas also accepted in the Bhagavad Gita as being Sanatana nature, are not annihilated even after the annihilation of the manifested cosmos. Those transcendental planets are of a different nature altogether, and that nature is not subjected to the rules and regulations of material creation, maintenance and annihilation. Right? So there is no creation of that, there is no annihilation of that, and there is no need for anybody to maintain that. The existence of the personality implies the existence of the Vaikuntha Lokas, as the existence of the king implies the existence of a kingdom. So if somebody says, what is the proof that Vaikuntha Lokas exist? Well, here is the proof. Krishna is saying that that's my abode. When he says it's my abode, he exists, his abode also exists. Right? I would request all of you to read these Shlokas. Very, very powerful purports. Right? Like a little book of Prabhupada. You can see, I am still reading the purport of the first verse. Just going on. Right? I wish I could read the whole thing, but here I am highlighted portion. The same confirmation is also in the Kashi Khanda of the Skanda Purana in connection with Dhruva Charita. See how many references Prabhupada is giving. It is stated there, I will read the English translation. Even the devotees of the personality of Godhead are not, even the devotees of the personality of Godhead are not annihilated during the period of the entire annihilation of the material world, not to speak of the Lord himself. The Lord is ever existence in all three stages of material change. Right? All three stages of material change is always there. The impersonalist adduces no activity in the Supreme, but in this discussion between Brahma and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord is said to have activities also, and he has his form and quality. The activities of Brahma and other demigods during the maintenance of the creation are to be understood as the activities of the Lord. Now, please focus here. What is he saying? What is Prabhupada saying? The activities of Brahma and other demigods during the maintenance of the creation are to be understood as the activities of the Lord. Meaning what? Next line will explain. The king or the head executive of a state may not be seen in the government offices, for he has engaged his royal comforts. Yet it should be understood that everything is being done under his direction and everything is at his command. Meaning, every single act of any devata, Kula devata, Grama devata, Ishta devata, everything is being done by whom? Krishna only. Don't be in the mistake that without Krishna's sanction, any devata can do anything. You might ask, then why did Brahma give that sanction to Hiranyakashipu, and why Narsimhadev became so angry? If Narsimhadev himself has done it, well, that's for glorifying Prahlad. All the Leelas are created. Everything is planned by Lord Krishna only. right? So this is the first shloka. In the Brihat Aranyaka Upanishad, now Lord Krishna, Prabhupada is going to Smriti, he is going to Upanishads. There is a hymn, Atmai Vedam Agra Asit Purusha Vidha. This mantra indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna even before the appearance of the Purusha incarnation. Now, who is Purusha incarnation? Narayan, right? And Purusharth, and the three Purushas who come out: Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So even before Purusha incarnations, who is there? Krishna is there. Do you want any other proof? Directly from Upanishad Smriti Shastra, Prabhupada is quoting that Krishna is the original Narayan. All Narayanas are coming out of Krishna. Narayan and Krishna, there is no difference. Narayan is in the office, Krishna is in the house. That's how we always explain, isn't it? That's how simply Prabhupada has explained. You are in the office, you are in home. You obviously want to be in home only, right? Work from home. No, there is no work from home for Krishna. Only play from home, right? Only, and work is only in the Vaikuntha. Playing is only happening in Goloka. Very simple, right? So even before the Purusha avatars have appeared, Brihat Aranyaka Upanishad 1.4.1, 141, you can remember that. You can say here is the proof, one of the proofs, that Krishna is the source of all Purusha avatars. See the purport, it's still going. I am only talking about one shloka. The demigods like Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Indra, Chandra and Varuna are undoubtedly different forms of the Lord for execution of different functions. The different elements, ingredients of material creation as well as the multifarious energies also may be the same personality of Godhead, but the root of all of them is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. One should be attached to the root of everything rather than bewildered by the branches and leaves. This is the instruction given in this verse, right? There is no question of being attached to anybody else, not even a Devata, when you have a choice of seeing Krishna in front of you. Because Krishna is everything. There is nothing else except Krishna. He is in the beginning. Can you all remember that? He is in the beginning. He is there in the present. He is there in the future. So what person are you talking about except Krishna? There is nobody. Everybody goes into him. Everybody comes out of him. So that is why Krishna says, Vyavasai Atmika Buddhir Ekaho Kurunandana. You want to come to me? Be very clear. Because there is nothing else except me. Matta Paratanam Nyanyat Kinchitastu Dhananjaya. There is no one equal to me. There is no one above me. Right? So, we will go to second Chatushloka, 2.9.34. Rite Artham Yat Pratiyeta Na Pratiyeta Chatmani Tad Vidyad Atmano Mayam Yatha Bhasho Yatha Tama. Now here is a new concept in that 4 shlokas. Lord Krishna is saying, Oh Brahma, repeat after me. Whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. No, it is my illusionary energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So here Lord Krishna in first shloka is saying there is nothing except me. Now he is saying if you are trying to identify anything as universe not in relation with me, then that is simply that you are in illusion. And by the way, that illusion is also me. So actually there is nothing. You can go away from Krishna. Even that Maya, like some people say I don't believe in God, even that non-belief is Krishna only. He has to give that non-belief also. We are not even capable of being a atheist without Krishna making us a atheist. Understand the helpless situation of any living entity. We can't be anything except without Krishna's sanction. Let's read Prabhupada. In the previous verse, it has already been concluded that in any stage of cosmic manifestation, its appearance, its sustenance, its growth, its interactions of different energies, its deterioration and its disappearance, all has its basic relation with the existence of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as such, whenever there is forgetfulness of his prime relation with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, that conception is called a product of the illusion energy of the Lord. Because nothing can exist without the Lord, it should be known that the illusionary energy is also energy of the Lord. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relation with the Lord is called Yogamaya, or the energy of union. And the wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relation with the Lord is called the Lord's Daivimaya or Mahamaya. Both the Mayas have connections with the Lord because nothing can exist without being related to Him. Right? Both the Mayas, Mahamaya or Yogamaya. You all know this concept. Okay. In the below purport, again the highlighted portion, the conception that the living entity is formless and that the Supreme Lord is formless is also an illusion. In Bhagavad Gita 2.12, what is that 2.12? Anybody can remember? Natveyam jatunasam natvam nime janadipa chaivana bhavishyamaha sarve vaya ataparam. Where there is no one that existed before you, right? And all this, there was never a time I did not exist, there was never a time you did not exist, and there will never be a time when all this Janadipa will not exist, right? So Krishna is making it very, very clear that he is an individual and we all will also remain individuals, right? Very, very clear. It is said by the Lord in the midst of the battlefield that the warrior standing in the front of Arjuna himself, and even the Lord had all existed before. They were existing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and they would all continue to be individual personalities in the future also, even after the annihilation of the present body and even after being liberated from the bondage of material existence. The independence of the individual living entity is not real independence. This is a very important paragraph, please pay focus. The independence of the individual living entity is not real independence, but it is just the reflection of the real independence existing in the Supreme Being, the Lord. The false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned souls is illusion. And this conclusion is admitted in this verse. Right? What is Krishna saying? If you don't see anything in relation with me, it is of no reality. There is no reality in that. Persons with a poor fund of knowledge become illusioned, and therefore the so-called scientists. Now Prabhupada takes a stick in this paragraph. Please hear. Jai Prabhupada. Persons with a poor fund of knowledge being illusioned, and therefore the so-called scientists, psychologists, empiric philosophers, etc., become dazzled by the glaring reflection of the sun, moon and electricity, etc., and deny the existence of the Supreme Lord, putting forward theories and different speculations about the creation, maintenance and annihilation of everything material. The medical practitioner may deny the existence of the soul in the psychological bodily construction of an individual person, but he cannot give life to a dead body, even though all the mechanisms of the body exist even after death. The psychologist makes a serious study of the psychological conditions of the brain, as if the construction of the cerebral lump were the machine of the functioning mind, but in the dead body of a psychologist cannot bring back the function of the mind. These scientific studies of the cosmic manifestation or the bodily construction independent of the Supreme Lord are different reflective intellectual gymnastics only. But at the end, they are all illusion and nothing more. Prabhupada ki jai. The sane man, furthermore, at later place, the sane man, however, is enlightened in the disciplinic succession from Brahmaji, who was personally instructed by the Lord, and in the disciplinic succession from Arjuna, who was personally instructed by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita. He accepts the statement of the Lord, 10.8. Please repeat after me. Aham sarvasva prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha. The Lord is the original source of all emanations, and everything that is created, maintained and annihilated exists by the energy of the Lord. The sane man who knows this is actually learned, and therefore he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Right? Just imagine, you're reading a whole book today. Okay, 4 shlokas in a small book. That is Prabhupada. By such a conclusion, as confirmed by the Bhagavad Gita, it is clear that living entities are also a display of Lord's superior energy, Parashakti, Paraprakriti. Just as the material world is a display of Lord's inferior energy, Aparaprakriti. The superior energy of the Lord cannot be as long as the Lord, although there is very little difference between the energy of the possessor of the energy or the fire and the heat. Fire is possessed of heat, but heat is not fire. Right? See the logic Prabhupada is giving. Fire is possessed of heat, but don't mistake heat to be fire. This simple thing is not understood by a man with a poor fund of knowledge who falsely claims that the fire and heat are same. This energy of the fire, namely heat, is explained here as reflection and not directly fire. What is Prabhupada saying here? What is Prabhupada saying here? He is saying, what did Krishna say? He said that the dark portion of mine is illusion. The shadow, the dark shadow of mine is illusion. The illusion is coming when Krishna is not there. Right? Now sun is in front of Krishna. Everything that you are seeing in front of sun is light, is Krishna. But the shadow is Krishna's only. Behind Krishna. Even though it is Krishna's only, it is not Krishna. Don't mistake. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Even though heat is coming out of fire, even though Maya is coming out of Krishna, but heat and fire are different. Maya and Krishna are different. Don't try to mix that. In this whole purport, I try to try to get something different. Prabhupada is saying here. The impersonalist may say that God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of God and not by man-made speculations. Here this light is specifically mentioned as Vidyad, which is an order of the Lord to Brahma. This direct order of the Lord is a manifestation of his internal energy, and this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. Third Chatushloka. Okay. So the first one was what? Let's try to recollect a little before we go. What was the first Chatushloka? I am the original before the creation, during the creation, after the creation, and there is nothing but me. And next now he is giving an explanation of there is nothing other than me, he is saying. Now in the second shloka he is saying that everything that is coming out of me, if you don't identify it with me, there is no meaning to me. There is no meaning to it. Right? So very clear, that is illusion. So see the Abhideya and Prayojana Gyan that is giving. So far he has not given the Abhideya. First one was what? There is nothing. There is nothing except me. Sambandha. And a little bit of Prayojana also. Sorry, what is that? Goal. Prayojana. Right? And in this shloka he is giving Sambandha. Everything, me and Prakriti. You and Prakriti. What is the Sambandha? Now let us see the third one. 2.9.35. Yata mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chavakcheshu anu pravisthani aparvisthani tata teshu na teshve aham. O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created and at the same time I am outside of everything. Don't mistake me, right, to be the same. For example, we are made of what? 5 elements, at least at a gross level, right? Earth, water, ether, fire, air. Now you got a body with that, but body is still different from earth, water, fire and ether, right? You cannot say that earth, water, everything has become body. Now there is no earth, water, fire and ether. Earth, water and fire, ether still exists. Your body also exists. In the same way, we are coming out of Krishna, but Krishna still remains Krishna. Don't ever mistake that we all together can sum up and become Krishna, or together 10 liters is equal to 1 kg of paneer. I don't know. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, he is very clearly distinguishing that everything is coming from him, but he is completely out of it. All the material modes, tamoguna, rajoguna, satvaguna, is coming from him, from his energy, but he is not, he is above it, completely above it, untouched. Let's read Prabhupada's purport. The body of the human being and the body of the mountain and also the bodies of the demigods, including Brahma, are all of the same ingredients: earth, water, etc. And at the same time, the elements are beyond the body. The elements were created first and therefore they entered into the bodily construction later. But in both circumstances, they entered the cosmos and also did not enter. Are you following now? Difficult. Book lag raha hai. We'll finish it soon. The elements were created first and therefore they entered into the bodily construction later, but in both circumstances they entered the cosmos and also did not enter. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, by his different energies, namely the internal and external, is within everything in the manifested cosmos, and at the same time he is outside everything, situated in the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha Loka, as described before. I strongly recommend all of you to read all these shlokas. It gives lot of proof from Brahma Samhita. Okay, the impersonalists can imagine or even perceive that the Supreme Brahman is thus all pervading, and therefore they conclude that there is no possibility of his personal form. Herein lies the mystery of his transcendental knowledge. This mystery is transcendental love of Godhead, and one who is surcharged with such transcendental love of Godhead can without difficulty see the personality of Godhead in every atom and every movable and immovable object. Once Prabhupada was there in Los Angeles, and one devotee came and asked, Prabhupada, how can we see God in Brahman? How can we see God in Brahman? Now Prabhupada was such a great Acharya. He just looked at his table, where Prabhupada used to sit and write purports. He showed his specs. Prabhupada's specs were kept there. Prabhupada asked, what will you remember after I am gone and you see those specs? What will you remember? He said, Prabhupada, I will remember you. So why can't you see Krishna and Brahman? Right? You can see me in that specs because you love me. You can see Krishna in Brahman if you love Krishna. If you don't love Krishna, by amount of Vedic knowledge, kuch bhi karo, any education, any jnana, yoga you do, you cannot see Krishna. Only with love you can see Krishna in it. So that's exactly what Prabhupada is saying here. This mystery of transcendental love of Godhead, and one who is surcharged with such transcendental love of Godhead can without difficulty see the personality of Godhead in every atom and every movable or immovable object. And at the same time, he can see personality of Godhead in his own abode, Goloka, enjoying eternal pastimes with his eternal associates, who are also expansions of his transcendental existence. This vision is the real mystery of the spiritual knowledge. As stated by the Lord in the beginning, Sarahasyam Tad Angamcha. This mystery is the most confidential part of the knowledge of the Supreme, and it is impossible for the mental speculators to discover by dint of intellectual gymnastics. The mystery can be revealed through the process recommended by Brahmaji in the Brahma Samhita 5.38 as follows: Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yachyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the original personality of Godhead Govinda, whom the pure devotees, their eyes smeared with ointment of love of Godhead, always observe within their hearts. This Govinda, the original personality of Godhead, is Shyama Sundara with all transcendental qualities. So all that we need is love. Yes. Hare Krishna. What happened? We are done, almost done. I'm sorry, it's taking a little more time than I planned. So in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord therefore advised Arjuna, okay, this we finished. So, please promise me that you will go back and read. Right? So I can go faster. Right? Because Chatushloka, it's not a ritual. Please don't see this as a ritual. We actually have to put a little bit of effort and time, and you'll actually get the benefit of reading entire 12 cantos without opening the cover. हरि बोल. 2.9.36 एतावद् एव जिज्ञास्यं तत्व जिज्ञासुनात्मना अन्वया व्यतिरेकाभ्यं यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा. Translation: a person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. So what does this mean? Lord Krishna is saying, please attend classes regularly. Keep searching, keep the search on. The only reason of our existence is continue the search until you find me. So he is telling Brahma that teach self-realization to the whole world. Teach self-realization. There is nothing beyond this. Every other activity which we are doing in our life is only to support the time for today evening. If today evening you don't have time, means you wasted the whole week in Krishna's way of looking at it, right? So we have to do it, no matter what it takes. We have to give time for self-realization, understand God directly or indirectly. What does it mean directly, indirectly? Guru is going to, Shastra is going to explain you directly, Guru can also explain indirectly. Whichever way, yena kena prakarena, you have to understand Krishna, and that is the most important. Now here is the Prayojana Gyan. In the 4th shloka, Lord Krishna is giving that the goal of Chatushloka is this. You have to give importance to self-realization. Now the purport of this is unbelievably long. Okay, unbelievably long. Okay, so I'm not going to read it now, because we are all hungry. You can see I'm just going to keep clicking. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want me to keep going? Okay, yeah, but Krishna is very merciful. Prabhupada is also merciful. At the end he gives the essence in 6 points. Do you want me to read it? Essence of essence. In essence. As indicated indirectly in various places in revealed scriptures. Please hear this essence with attention. Okay? Even though one is well versed in all Vedas and scriptures, if one is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, he is considered to be the lowest of mankind. Very clear and blunt. Now, I read those all pages. There are so many shlokas Prabhupada is quoting on this one point from different Upanishads and Puranas, right? The only reason for our existence is to become a devotee of Krishna. Number 2, in the Garuda Purana, Brihad Narayana Purana, Naradiya Purana and Padma Purana, the same is repeated. What is the use of Vedic knowledge and penances? What is the use of Vedic knowledge and penances for one who is devoid of devotional service to the Lord? If you don't want bhakti, don't waste your time doing vratas and upavasas. Enjoy. At least that side you will get something. Don't stand in between, because that will not take you anywhere. This is not my advice, but I am just saying, what are you going to achieve? या इधर रहो या उधर रहो, लेकिन उधर भी कृष्णा ही है माया के रूप में, राइट? इधर कृष्णा है प्रेम के रूप में, मतलब ही इज कंप्लीटली वेटिंग फॉर अस इन लव. ओके, थर्ड, what is the comparison of thousands of Prajapatis to one devotee of the Lord? What a statement. Now Prajapati is who? The people who started the whole creation, right? Population. One great Prajapati. Can you name one Prajapati? Daksha Prajapati, very famous, right? So there are many Prajapatis. There is a Prajapati for snakes, Prajapati for reptiles, Prajapati for trees, Prajapati for, and Manu continues to Prajapati for Manishi, men. Man comes from Manu. So, so here Prabhupada is saying, in the whole creation, Lord Krishna is not impressed with so many Prajapatis. He will not go and ask Brahma, hey Brahma, कितने बच्चा पैदा किया? और तेरे बच्चों ने कितना बच्चा पैदा किया? ब्रह्मा एक डिवोटी पैदा किया? नो, यू आर फेल, 0 out of 100. Finish, right? So that is the importance Krishna is giving for one devotee. So we might have 10 children, we might have 10 daughters, or we might have so much, great lineage, but if not even one person is a devotee, then that's nothing but a lineage of pigs. Prabhupada says pigs. Pig also has 10 children, we also have 10 children, right? Next, fourth. No. They are doing their work. They are at a level of devotee. They are trying to become a devotee. Even Brahma is trying to become a devotee. What to speak of any of Prajapati? He's a great devotee. We can't compare. You just because I told Brahma is trying to become a devotee. Okay, Brahma, now sit beside me. No, Brahma is a great devotee, but pure devotee, very rare. Like today evening, we chanted Jayanilo Premadhana for Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj. He cannot be compared with any person in this whole planet. With any person in the 14 planets, he cannot be compared, because he dedicated his life for Srila Prabhupada. He gave his life for Prabhupada. From the age of 19-18 years till now, the only thing he chanted is Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. And he gave his life. He created so many devotees. He inspired so many devotees. All Prajapatis together cannot be compared to him. They are Prabhuji, Prajapatis, they are doing their job. But in that job, they are also wanting to enjoy. They also want their enjoyment. Indra is also doing a job. But why does he have to do Apsaras dancing?
See, Indra also,
It's a post,
How did he get
right?
Karmakandi character?
But he also tries to enjoy.
What did he do?
He's a devotee.
Indra.
He is a sincere devotee, but also is enjoying Mishrama Bhakti. Of course, me and you cannot comment about Indra or Chandra or anybody. We cannot. Prabhupada also told, just because Indra is making mistake doesn't mean that it's a license for all of us to quote him. Indra is very dear to Lord Krishna. So he himself appears in front of Indra and corrects him. Just imagine how dear Krishna should be. Krishna is not sending Brahma and Shiva to correct Indra. He himself comes and corrects him many times.
How to, for common people, common man, how we can explain this particular third point, especially on
Difficult. Unless they understand who is a devotee, we cannot explain. Don't even explain. To understand the heart of a devotee is unbelievable, Raji. It's very difficult. Even Krishna surrenders to a devotee. What to speak of? Krishna cannot understand why a devotee is serving him like that. Why he takes so many risks. Why he puts Krishna into anxiety. Right? Devotee can put Krishna into anxiety. Nobody else can put Krishna into anxiety.
one small example.
Yeah.
So when Brahma created Kumaras, 4 Kumaras, right, they rejected to become Prajapatis. They wanted to become devotees. That's the distinction between regular Prajapatis and other those 4. Because they wanted to become devotees, and they just said, we don't want to come to the origination. That means they are also trying to become devotees. They are not,
Everybody.
not devotees, they're becoming.
Yeah. Very good
Other
example.
people are like already
Yeah. Okay. Fourth. Please, these are the essence of entire thing. Please, so this is already essence of essence. So Sukadeva Goswami said in Bhagavatam 2.4.17 that neither the ascetic nor one who is greatly munificent, nor one who is famous, nor the great philosopher, nor the great occultist, I don't know what this means, occultist. Anybody knows? We have to get a dictionary. Nor anyone else who can achieve the desired result without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Nor anyone else can achieve the desired result without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Meaning, nobody can achieve anything in this planet without the sanction of God. That is very, very important. Number 5. Even if a place is more glorious than heaven, this is very heavy. Even if there is a place more glorious than heaven, if there is no glorification of the Lord of Vaikunta or his pure devotee, it should be at once quitted. Mysticism. Okay. So it should be at once quitted. So don't try to find any place more favorite than satsang. In essence of essence. Okay. Number 6. The pure devotee refuses to accept all the 5 types of liberation in order to be engaged in the service of the Lord. Now this is devotee. He doesn't even want to go to Krishna. He wants Krishna to run behind him. Right? So he is just serving, like Prabhupada. Prabhupada's disciples are like that. They are serving Krishna even without asking anything from Krishna. So here is the conclusion. Right? This is the conclusion. The final conclusion therefore is that the glories of the Lord must be always and everywhere proclaimed. One should hear about His glories, one should chant about His glories, and one should always remember His glories, because that is the highest perfectional stage of life. Now it's a purport only, I put it into bullets. Okay, so it's easy to read. Please focus. As far as fruitive work is concerned, it is limited to an enjoyable body. Is that right? Are you all understanding? As far as fruitive work is concerned, it is limited to an enjoyable body. As far as yoga is concerned, it is limited to the acquirer of mystic power, meaning they end with a goal. I got the Ashtasiddhi. Okay, done. There is nothing left in yoga. There is nothing left in yoga, right? As far as emphoric philosophy is concerned, it is limited to the attainment of transcendental knowledge. You understood the entire Vedas. Get out. Ho gaya tera kaam. Next what? As far as transcendental knowledge is concerned, it is limited to attainment of salvation. Even if they are adopted, there is every chance of discrepancies in discharging the particular type of functions. Even those you cannot do perfectly. Meaning, even if you are trying to achieve those, there can be some imperfect steps you would have put into. But see the conclusion. But the adoption of the transcendental devotional service of the Lord has no limit. There is no end object that you can see, have achieved devotion. There is nothing like that. Nor is there fear of falling down. So no need to fall down. No fear that I am going to lose something if I fall down. The process automatically reaches the final stages by the grace of the Lord. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, there is an apparent requisite for knowledge, but in the higher stage, there is no necessity of such knowledge also. Meaning khatam. Right? You are completely immersed, and there is no limit to it. It just keeps going. The best and the guaranteed, this I only highlighted the last line of Chatishloka purport. The best and the guaranteed path of progress is therefore engagement in Bhakti Yoga, pure devotional service. Now I am not going to read this, it's going even further. There is one more, the cream of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says this Chatushloka. Prabhupada again insists. The whole matter is explained in Katha Upanishad. The whole matter is explained by the Lord Himself. And one who has no approach to the Lord in his personal feature can rarely understand the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam without being taught by the Bhagavatas in the disciplinic succession. This is the most important line that Prabhupada concludes with, saying, who saw Krishna in person? Arjuna. Brahma. While giving knowledge. He is giving knowledge, he is in front of him. Brahma, Arjuna. Right? Can we see, will Krishna come and tell us Bhagavad Gita? No. So, without having personal form of the Lord in front of you, without understanding Lord's personal form in front of you, you cannot understand Vedic knowledge unless you have a Guru. Simple. You cannot. You by heart the entire Bhagavatam, 18 cantos, 18 books, but you will not understand 0.01% of Krishna without the mercy of a Guru. Actually, in the Chatushloka 4, the whole purport that I was skipping all the pages, Prabhupada is only glorifying devotion and devotion given by a Guru. Devotion given by a Guru. Krishna gives to Guru and Guru gives to us. So here are the 4 Chatushlokas. Let's read only the translation once again together. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusion energy. That reflection which appears to be in darkness. O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created and at the same time I am outside of everything. A person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to for it up to this in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. Hari Bol. Happy Purushottam Mass to all assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. We finished Srimad Bhagavatam. Huh? No, that's okay. Which one? Third one. No. Okay. So please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I also exist within everything created and at the same time I am outside of everything. So here, Prabhuji, in essence I am telling you, we can discuss during the dinner time, dinner prasadam, is that Krishna is saying that all these energies of mine create things, but the energies still remain mine. In the same way, though everything is coming from me, but I still remain me. Right? 5 elements created us, but 5 elements still exist. It's not like they are ending with you. Like that only Krishna also, he creates everything, but it's not ending with you. Right? We'll sing Narsimha Arati? Yes? Jai. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. प्रहलाद लाद दायिने हिरण्याकाशी पूर्वक्षः शीलकङ्कानकालाये इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो नरा सिंहामभीं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलभरेण कामद्भुत शृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे वकर कमल भरे नका अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे ईश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जयो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल। श्री श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, श्री निताय गौरंग भगवान की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रवदिकाचार्य स्तोत्र ज्वान ग्रेस भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रवदिकाचार्य स्तोत्र हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से बोलो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। पुण्य क्षेत्र वृंदावन धाम की जय। गंगे माई की जय, यमुने माई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, कलिग पावन तुलसी महारानी की जय, पुरुषोत्तम माँ सत्संग की जय। निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम चतुश्लोक की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। So happy to see all of you, Prabhuji and Mataji's. Really, you know, after a long time we had a in-person satsang. Little one but satisfying. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Jai.